All right, let's get set for the next heat. Heat 2 around 4 sees Sage Erickson, the Californian, up against Reunion Islands' Johanne Defay, representing France. And this is a really good heat. And I know these two have met a couple of times in the past. Johanne Defay is such a fierce competitor. You'd have to say a little bit more aggressive than Sage Erickson on the backhand, but Sage just has that silky flow.
Similar brand of surfing, both smooth, round. You know, they have that great wide arc and the diameter of how they carve. As you mentioned earlier today, Ronnie, Johanne Defay raised in Reunion Island with that famous wave St. Lou. Very similar, shallow reef, one of the best waves in the world, so she's familiar with cracking a lip on her backhand. She's hungry, isn't she? She has that kind of underdog style of surfing where she loves to surprise big seeds.
But this is Sage Erickson. We had a decent score from Johanne Defay on her first wave, a 6.33. Sage is going to kick out of that one.
Well, it wasn't too stressful because I couldn't hear a thing, so I actually didn't really know what was going on. All that I knew was I had to better every single wave I had. So, yeah, after that first takeoff, I had to redeem myself.
Well, you know, you started off last year with a couple of ninths, and this year is the same thing. You know, this really was the turning point for you making the quarterfinals. Do you feel like you're gaining that momentum this year too?
Yeah, of course. I mean, nothing's really changed because I still feel really good, and I feel like I've had a couple of heats this year that have been pretty close, and I'm still happy with it. So,
Nikki Van Dyke, don't be happy with quarters, Nikki. You've been there too many times before. This will be Nikki's 10th appearance in the quarters. She's never made the semis. So she needs to regroup and not be happy with that result. As we see, Sage, looks like she's changed up her equipment, Ross, on a bigger board. The impact zone as quickly as possible. You could see Sage didn't want to be in there. Kai Garcia swooped in. And here is Johanne Defay's last ride.
Wow, that wave spit right there and she smacked it. So nice opening maneuver. Again, throwing a lot of spray out the back and then finish the wave off. So Johanne Defay, very patient. She is chipping away at this heat. I think it's going to build her confidence. She knows she has a lot left to offer in this heat. But that opening maneuver showed a lot of commitment. Again, as you mentioned earlier, Ronnie, she's one of the surfers on tour that is not afraid to throw her board right in the mix in the heaviest part of the wave. For Stephanie Gilmore, it's very simple. You know, it's not about technique, board selection, just simply putting herself on better waves.
Let's start talking about what's happening here in Heat 2. Sage Erickson's chasing a pretty big number at the moment. She'd be happy just to narrow the requirement. She's after a 9.33. A couple of decent turns here. Well-constructed ride so far. Can add more points on the inside here, chipping away. Good surfing from the 25-year-old.
This is the pace that we're looking for. It's not running away from her down the line. See how slow it is. So now she can go to the bottom, take her time, and then smack it right in the guts of the wave. That's where the judges really love it. Again, that's her third turn, right in the cupped out transition. She didn't go out to the shoulder and kind of cut back.
Hamilton taking on Nikki Van Dyke. And at the moment, we've got Sage Erickson up against Johanne Defay, trying to get herself into the quarterfinals for the second time this year. Sage is after a 4.83, and that wave probably won't do it.
Yeah, that's going to be an exciting one. Malia smoother, more calculated, but Laura very exciting. And she has been absolutely fearless.
Well, here goes Johanne, using priority. She waited a long time for this wave, and it's got a pretty decent wall on it, just sending huge amounts of water out the back. It's not the biggest set of this heat, but it's got good shape, and it's allowed Johanne to find a nice little rhythm off the bottom and into the lip. We've had a couple of World Junior Champions from Europe, but I don't think we've had a competitor as strong as Johanne Defay in the elite ranks.
There's a maneuver on it right there. Little hack, and this one even better. Hooks it around, so it's just got a little more radius out of it. And, you know, the wave, unfortunately for Johanne, kind of sizzled. You know, ended on a flat note, but two and a half major maneuvers on the outside. She's going to extend her lead.
Let's take a look from the angle of the, I think this is the Tabarua cam actually. Gives you a good scope of just how big this lineup is, how long these rides are.
That's a serious lens, Ronnie, because it's 2.2 miles away from here. And you can see her right there in the middle of your lens. Great work from our cameraman.
4.5 minutes to go. This might be Sage's chance to steal this heat from Johanne. She has to get busy. The wave is starting to taper off. There's a good section here. She digs in, bit of foam on the face, and she gets out of there. So Johanne extending her lead. And there is just under 4 minutes to go, and Defay is taking off once again. And have a look at this wave. It is really starting to barrel, but Johanne's going to stick to turns. Starting strong, bashing the lip, mixing things up. And just repeating the effort down the line.
Threw a lot of spray and whipped it right in that heavy part of the wave, that tight transition we're talking about. You're right, Ronnie, that thing did gut her out there. It was a good barrel, but she made up for it right there. Second pin, third one, she had a really nice tempo. She dropped to the bottom each time. That way she could get vertical, snap it right in the hook. So I'm thinking she's going to get rid of that 6-pointer.
Feels that way. And get yourself back into the pocket of the wave, because when you've got that much speed, it's so hard to slow down. There's not really any lip that you can tap into to find that tempo. Johanne's doing it very well at the moment. And again, climbing up into that first section early. So not concerned about what's happening down the line, just focusing on these critical sections that are presented right in front. And she is still looking for more, gunning down the line. This wave's going to shut down. 1.5 minutes remaining. Her last wave at 7.23, her best wave. Helps her move further ahead of Sage Erickson. Well, the Water Patrol team are just so aware of how much water they need to just skim above the reef. And Glendon Ringrose, a former Championship Tour competitor, really forcing the issue there on the inside. But here is the replay of Johanne's last wave.
A little unfortunate that wave peeled down the reef. She already did 2 quality turns right in the pocket. She desperately wanted to get a third one.
30 seconds remaining. Erickson, this is her last shot at it. She needs to dig in big time. And there is a couple of huge turns. And still threading the moves together on the inside, committing to the end section. And that is one of the more committed waves we've seen from Erickson. A good fight. And giving herself a chance here, a 6.56. This is going to be a very close heat. Wouldn't be surprised if Johanne put up another solid number for her last ride too. We are waiting for scores. This has been a fun one, Ross. This
has been really cool. It's always fun commentating with you, Ronnie. But that was a crazy little exchange here to close it. The judges have some homework left here.
Sage, she's a little more submissive sometimes when she finds herself in second spot, but she put up a great performance on this ride.
Let's get the scalpel out here and really dissect this wave. So a decent snap right there. Leaned a lot harder on that second maneuver. And not a bad third one. So, you know, it would have been a no-brainer for the judges had she finished that last float. The door's open though, with a, you know, just leaving a little question in the air lingering.
Well, Johanne did increase her lead just a little with her last wave of 7.47. But keep in mind that Erickson already has the highest scoring ride of the heat, 7.67. So the requirement, 7.03. She definitely strung together some solid turns on the inside. But did she go hard enough on that first maneuver? But I know Sage's brother Noah, who's caddying for her out there, he wants to stay here for as long as possible. He is a wave pig. But let's again have a look at Sage Erickson's last ride.
It's a lot of motivation. He is coaching through his skin right now. That was sweet. So this is the third maneuver is the one. Wang, little hook right there in the pocket. Even got a little bit of air under the fins. But again, I just don't like the fact that she ended the wave on that sour note.
I think it had more to do with the first turn. Just the wave flattened out a little bit. She couldn't really lay her board over, and the number has just dropped. She needed a 7.03. It's a 6.37. And she fell short. Sage Erickson, have a look at that, just so close, 14.7 to 14.64, a great heat. Johanne Defay will take on Courtney in quarterfinal number 2.